announcing the launch of the Kind Tree Project program, a program created to help push back against the pervasive societal ills that plague our towns, in our streets, in our communities.
The Kind Tree Project program endeavors to sow flowering seeds of clemency that will spring forth into proficient, restorative branches of civility and compassion for the betterment of our world and posterity. Find out more about the Kind Tree Project program at thekindtreeproject.com. Okay, so today is November the 19th of 2023, and this is our Bible study. We've been looking at the second discourse of Christ found in the book of Matthew, which is the missionary discourse. And so we just had the Bible teaching, and this is the Bible study portion. The purpose of this series is to read the words of Christ and Selah, or ponder the meaning and message. The scriptural focus is Romans 14:17, for the kingdom of God is not meat and drink, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Ghost. The scripture that I looked at for the Bible teaching was Matthew 10:23-31, and today we'll look at Psalm 91. So points I want to first pull out from the Bible teaching. Christ warns of persecution. So Christ wants his followers to be to understand that the truth about Christianity. Sometimes people have very wrong understandings, and they're thinking that, being a Christian, all of a sudden prosperity is going to take over. You're going to have prosperity. You're going to have perfect health. You're going to have all these wonderful things happen. Christ gives us sobering words. And he told them, and he had warned them before, telling them about they would be amongst wolves. And this time he told them, he talked about when you are persecuted. He said when. He didn't say if. He said when. And so it lets us know that things will happen in our lives at some point. It doesn't have to be constant, and it probably won't. And at some point, as we have gone through different things, see, Christ still keeps us even in those things. So even though we go through things, he still keeps us and protects us. And so his word promises that even the bad things, he will work it all together for our good. But he wants us to know there will be some bad things. Some bad things will occur, but when you're in Christ, he can even use those bad things and use it and work it all together so that it still benefits us in the end. And then the next point, the religious people were against Christ. So Christ, when he was telling his disciples, trying to tell them what to expect, and then he said, they called me Beelzebub. In other words, it didn't say it like that, but Beelzebub is the devil. And Christ said they called me the devil. And when you think about it, he's God. And so he's telling them, look, they called me the devil. So in other words, what do you think they're going to think about you or say about you? So Christ was giving them, just letting them know, he wanted them to know what to expect. The next point, Christ was spoken ill of, and that's, pretty much what I just said. And then the next point, true Christians' faith will be challenged. That's still the same point pretty much, because that's kind of what that passage talked about a lot. Then the next point, God shares secret things with us. It talked about what Christ will share in the ear, that then we can proclaim it openly. That's about revelation. That's about Christ giving us further revelation into what the word is talking about in different ways that we can apply it and get truth out of it to benefit our lives. But Christ is saying, when I tell you these things, I want you to share it. So he wants the revelation from his word, not to just benefit us personally, but he wants us to also share it. So tell someone else to share that revelatory knowledge so it can benefit their lives too. The next point, fear only God, not man. So Christ is letting us know he doesn't want us to. He talked about how the sparrows, even one sparrow is not going to fall to the ground unless God allows it. That's what he's saying. He's saying, look at how much power that that God has over the things that he's made. He said a sparrow, it's not even expensive. The sparrows, they sell them very cheaply. People really don't put much value in them. But he was saying, but God, he won't even let one of them fall to the ground unless he allows it. So in other words, he's saying, but you are so much more valuable than a sparrow. And he's showing the power that God has. God has the power to protect, to control things, to allow things to either happen or to not happen. And so even though some things can happen that are not pleasant or not good, nothing can happen unless he allows for it to happen. It has to be something that he allows. The devil can't do anything unless he gets permission from God. A perfect example of that in the Bible is when Job went to God. When the devil went to God to talk to him about Job. And he asked for permission to do the things that he did to Job. And that seems very strange. Like, why would God give him permission? And why is that even in the Bible? Part of why is to let us know the devil cannot do a thing. He can't do anything unless God allows it. And then on the tail end of it, God blessed Job's life. He had much more than he had ever had before. His life was blessed. Now, why did God let the bad things happen? Well, it didn't happen because of God. It happened because everything really still goes back to Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve opened up the door so that the devil could legally do things here on this earth to affect our lives, mankind. And so the devil can legally do things because of Adam and Eve, because they allowed him access to interfere with humanity and the world. So it really goes back to what Adam and Eve allowed. So since there is an allowance, God let that happen, not because he wanted it to, but because there is an allowance for it. There is a legal allowance that things can happen. God used that strategically to show different things. One, the devil can't do anything unless God lets it happen. Two, when you continue to trust in God, which Job did, continue to trust in God, and God will bless you at the end, working all things together for your good, even using things that were not good. And so I want to go to the scripture now, which is Psalm 91. Faye, could you read that?
Sure.
Okay.
He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only will thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation.
Thank you. May God add a blessing to the reading of his word. And so for this passage, I really pulled this out mainly to, and this is a very well-known psalm. Lots of people, even if they don't know a lot about the Bible, a lot of them will know something about Psalm 91. And this is talking about God's protection over us who are his children, how he will protect us. So in the passage that I read for the Bible teaching, Jesus wanted his disciples and us, because those that follow him are his disciples, that he wanted us to know, to be sober about the things that happen in the world. But this scripture is also letting us know how God will protect us, and how his angels are there for us to keep us safe in our lives. And he's letting us know also that even sometimes in difficult situations where things are happening all around us, God is powerful enough to insulate us from even the trouble that's going on right in our area, right all around us. God's power can do it. And so we just have to keep trusting in him. And we know that it doesn't stop all bad things, because we live in an imperfect world. But trusting in him will always benefit our lives. And this is a scripture too. I think this is very personal passage, something that we can just read and really just selah on, just think about the goodness of God, just to trust in him, just to continue to pray his protection over our lives, and to ask him to help us to have faith to believe that he will protect us and keep us and do everything that his word promises to do. This is a scripture where we can just selah and just ask God to strengthen us in his word. And so I'm not going to go verse by verse, but we can read this and just selah and ponder. And I thank God for his blessings in our lives. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, and we can then have our discussion. Father, thank you so much for your angels that you give charge over us to keep us in all our ways, Lord, lest we dash our foot against a stone. And I ask that you would bless us, keep us, make your face shine upon us, lift up your countenance upon us, be gracious to us, and give us peace. And everyone that agrees can say amen.
Amen.
Amen.